Good morning and good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming back to my channel. Here again to read another short sci-fi story. Actually, I did find this one on a Reddit subreddit called Short Sci-Fi Stories. It's by user GuyAwks and it's called A Plague of Agelessness. I will be dropping the link to the story as well as any other information in the description if you want to go read that for yourself. But until then, let's go ahead and get into the story. A Plague of Agelessness. Who could have guessed that vanity would spell civilization's downfall? So much effort had been poured into stopping the clock on aging. So many industries revolved around it, that not enough thought went into whether we actually should. Biotech giants all combined efforts, forging ahead to finally unlock the secret to freezing the aging process. In 2031, they had their breakthrough. Unfortunately, before they could stabilize their discovery, it had a breakthrough of its own. The antidote to aging had become an airborne virus, one that fast swept across the entire globe. Before long, the entire human population had stopped aging altogether. For the most part, people were quick to celebrate. Those few critics of what happened were drowned out by the impressionable majority, convinced that to be forever young was to be forever happy. Fools. Only after decades had passed, had the novelty of our gifts had worn off, did the harsh reality begin to set in. No humans could be born because no embryos could grow. Since the virus yielded no true immortality, accidents and disease still claimed as many lives as they had before. The human population was plummeting. A century onwards, humanity's numbers sit in a mere hundreds. People are either killing themselves over surplus of experiences accumulating in their head, or demanding restitution. The scientists attempt to spin it. What better way for humanity to end than with our cities and bodies at their prime? But no one's buying it. They want out of this stalemate with biology. They want a cure. And I found one. I thought endlessly about a solution, tossed and turned until it came to me out of nowhere. A simple procedure of sustained cellular fusion. That was all it would take to reverse the virus and get humans aging again. If my mental calculations were right, it should have gone off without a hitch. All I need to do now is the impossible. Oh, I've tried to squeal the cure to my carers with high-pitched, underdeveloped vocal cords. I've tried to scribble them out the theorem to passing strangers with small, feeble hands. I could have even mimed my breakthrough to the scientists themselves, if only I had the power to stand. My mind had learned so much over the past 100 centuries. It really could have saved humanity from extinction. If only I wasn't trapped in the body of a newborn baby. Wow, that really was a short one, but I think it was a really heavy one. Um, it really is the twist at the end of our main character who's telling the story being a child, being a baby, a newborn baby at that. They hinted at it towards the end when they were saying their cries and yelling out with feeble hands, but because of how it's written, you think the author is an adult, and in a lot of ways they are. They've lived for hundreds and hundreds of years, but they're just stuck in the body of a baby. I mean, you imagine how terrible that would be to be born and never grow. It's almost a Benjamin Button, but instead of aging in reverse, you're just stuck there. So you're probably never growing in teeth to eat real food. You never can walk, talk, and you're just, you have these thoughts where, yeah, it'll probably take a while for you to really develop since you can't, maybe you don't know how to read or it takes longer to learn how to read. I don't know. Things like that to take in certain information. But once it gets going, it's like you have hundreds of years to do it. Um, I think that's a really crazy concept to think about when we talk about like living forever. Because there's definitely a lot. I believe is called transhumanism, where a lot of the current research is talking about how we can extend our lives as humans, whether through healthier ways of living, whether through the types of food we consume, vitamins, da da da, or more technologically speaking, like uploading your mind into a different body, or just uploading your mind into the cloud in general. But the idea of like completely just stopping aging and you're frozen, I think it's a pretty realistic scenario what we have here in this story of people just after, in the beginning, of course you'd love that. You'd live it up probably the first 100 years or so, 200 years, like being a vampire. Just have a great time. And after a while, it's like there's no new experiences to be had. In a lot of ways, I think things would uh, advance faster, but then they would come to a stop because no one would probably care. Like they said, humanity at a certain point is just in the hundreds because people just can't have kids. You're never gonna grow as a species. People still die though, so you're just gonna dwindle away. It's a slow death for the race as a whole. When you think about it, there's a reason things age and change over time. I don't know. I wonder about that sometimes. Would I want to live forever? I think I'd want to. I I don't think this would be inherently bad if you could, like, maybe in this case, because it was airborne and it infected everyone, willing or not. I think that's where it becomes super dystopian. But if it was just like, okay, I've gone to 25 years, now I can go get this procedure done, or I'm frozen at 25. And then I can, because you're not, I'm gonna say immortal, because you're not indestructible, you can still end it when you want from the seams of it. So I think this type of agelessness would be ideal, as long as you have a choice. So I guess that's the question to you all is, if you were able to choose to become immortal, would you? And if so, what would you do? Me? I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably just, live the next 20, 30 years out living my regular life, the life I live now. And then probably after a while, I'd just say, okay, whatever, just like go off in the woods. Just become a new person every like 50 years, just reinvent who I am. Be, artist one day, hobbit in the woods, the next tech mogul, to diving the deep sea. Just, you would literally do everything. Yeah. I think that's all I have in terms of thoughts. This was a really short one. The next one might be a little longer. We'll see. But I hope you all enjoyed this little story. Let me know what you think. Definitely, if you find any yourselves that you'd like me to read, drop it below. Or reach out to me. We'll see about reading it on here. Thanks so much for joining me, all.